So this one move here, it looks innocent on the surface, but when you do it right, it makes women feel 10 out of 10 horny for you pretty much instantly. And I'm talking about a handshake here. Yes, just a very simple handshake in 3 simple steps that flips a boring hello into pure crackling sexual tension. So within just a few seconds of meeting that woman, now you have shattered the touch barrier. She feels like she's known you forever, like you're an old friend that she secretly wants. And now she's staring into your eyes with that heated, dangerous kind of stare. The stare that says, this guy is different. And all of it comes from this one simple move that I'm going to show you right now on how to introduce yourself. Look, you have to introduce yourself to the woman anyway. So why waste it in some flat, forgettable way? Why not make that girl start falling in love with you right there on the spot? Why not hit her with an introduction that she has never experienced before? One that flips her emotions and her body chemistry upside down. And this works especially well for older guys. So if you're in your 40s or 50s and you're talking to some young, beautiful 22-year-old bombshell, you want her thinking to herself, wow, this man right here, he is sexy. He is interesting. And not from hours of small talk, not from buying her some expensive dinner, but just from your introduction alone, you want her thinking that. Because let's be real here, gentlemen, most older guys, they completely blow the introduction, right? They're awkward, they're boring, they're forgettable, and they get friend zoned in 5 seconds flat. And you do not want to be that guy. So in this video right here, I'm going to break it all down for you. First, the exact play-by-play for introducing yourself in a way that creates that instant crackling, sizzling sexual chemistry that cranks up the tension and drops those butterflies straight into her stomach. And second, how to take that chemistry and amp it up so she's locking eyes with you like she's already undressing you. And finally, guys, I'm going to show you exactly when to make your move so it hits that woman with maximum impact. So I'm going to give you a couple reasons why you want to introduce yourself and exchange names with the woman pretty early on, like almost right away. And the first reason why you want to exchange names is because it creates instant familiarity. It's going to create comfort, where now you're not just some random stranger that came up to her and is talking to her. Now you almost come across like an acquaintance. After the introduction, it's almost like you are part of her social circle. Now, the second reason you want to do a handshake, like I'm going to show you how, and introduce yourself, is because you are now breaking the touch barrier. At some point, you need to break the touch barrier and get physical with the girl. And in doing that, you're going to step in close, get into her personal space, which is going to create massive sexual tension when you have that close physical proximity to each other. So here's how to do the basic move, and I'm going to show you how to make it even more sexual in just a moment. That's coming up. But the basic move is, first, you're going to make a little gesture, like a little loop with your hand to catch her eye. You want her to see your hand moving. So you do a little thing like this, and then you hold your hand out to her, just holding it out, waiting for her to take it. You just hold your hand out, waiting for her to take it. Now, this is key, guys. Instead of giving her a formal handshake like this off to the side, you're going to turn your palm facing up. So your palm is facing up to the air. So it's less formal and more like a romantic gesture, a romantic handshake. And you just hold it out there, waiting for her to take it. This is also key. You're also going to step in. You need to step in, and if there's any distance between the two of you, this is your moment, guys. This is your opportunity to close the distance and get right into her personal space. And once you're in her personal space, now you're creating that sizzling sexual tension, especially if you're holding eyes with her the whole time with a smile. So you're doing the little loop with your hand, putting it out, facing up into the air, up into the sky, stepping in, closing the distance. You got that smirk. You're holding eyes with her, and that will create massive sexual tension just from closing the space. Now, you're also going to say, so by the way, my name is Jesse. Who are you? What's your name? Okay, so there's a lot of elements going on here, guys. You're going to do the little flick of the wrist so she sees it, it catches her eye, palm up into the air, stepping in, closing the distance where you say, hey, by the way, my name is Jesse. Who are you? What's your name? With a smile and holding eye contact. Now, this is also key, guys. You got to remember this. You're not going to lunge in and try to grab her hand, okay? All you're going to do is hold your hand out there waiting for her to take it. And I guarantee you she will take it for a couple of reasons. Number one, because it's the polite thing to do, right? It's proper social convention when you put out your hand for the other person to do a handshake as well. And women just like to go with the flow, okay? When you hold out your hand like that, what you're doing now is creating this social awkwardness where you're just holding out your hand. You did a little flick of the wrist so she knows you're doing it. She's not going to leave you hanging, right? You're creating massive tension there, interactional tension, and she will want to break the tension, right? She does not like to feel that tension necessarily, so she will reach out and take your hand to break the tension. So 99% of the time when you do this move, the woman will initiate, reach out, and do the handshake. And now, guys, just look at the fantastic position you have put yourself in. And this is still just the basic version, not the more advanced version I'm going to show you in just a second, okay? You have closed the space. You have now stepped into her personal space, which is required for creating that sizzling, crackling sexual tension. And sexual tension is exactly what you want, gentlemen, so that you don't have that 20-minute boring conversation that goes nowhere. You need to have sexual tension. Second, you've also broken the touch barrier with her now. You and her, you've touched skin to skin, which is very important, very critical to start touching her more in the future, okay? And this is also kind of overlooked. Number 3, guys, she has now participated. This is a micro investment she's made. So you just held out your hand, waiting patiently for her to take it, and by her own initiation, she reaches out to a stranger and takes your hand. Just think about that for a moment. That's a huge investment on her part, and you made her do it using a little psychological trick here, that you created more awkwardness for her not to take your hand. So she takes it. And that's a huge micro investment, guys. Very important. So now I'm going to give you a couple little extra tips to make this handshake work even better. So the first tip I have for you is that I personally like to repeat the girl's name back to her. So when she says, oh, my name is Sarah, I like to say to her, okay, Sarah. Okay, that's a pretty name. I can remember that, Sarah. And there's a couple reasons why I repeat her name back to her. Number 1 is to drill it into my own brain because I tend to forget names. So it's just for me to remember her name. And the second reason I repeat her name back to her is to create this feeling of familiarity. Because whenever a woman hears her name repeated back to her, it gives her the sensation like she knows you, like you're friends. So I want to create this feeling of comfort and familiarity, like we're old buddies. The second thing you can do here is give her a light compliment about her hands in the moment. Like you can tell her, oh, I like your nails, girl, or, oh, you got really soft hands. And this is just to create that man to woman connection. It's just showing her, I've got a dick, I'm a man, you're a woman, and I notice you in a masculine to feminine way. And it's not some lame generic compliment like, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous. No, it's going to feel more earned because it's something specific that you noticed about her. And my third tip for really making this handshake work is you want to linger for a couple of extra seconds. You're just going to linger for a couple of extra seconds, guys. And you're not going to yank your hand away suddenly, okay? You're going to just gently roll off. Again, guys, you gently roll out of the handshake. So when you're taking your hand away, you're gently rolling off the handshake, almost like you are reluctant to let go. Now, what I showed you here, guys, That was like the initial spark. But what I'm about to show you next is how to take it to the next level, okay? How to turn that simple handshake into what I call the horny handshake. The move that makes her body betray her, right? Makes her feel 10 out of 10 horny for you before she even knows why. But here's the problem. Most men are just completely invisible to beautiful women. Their hello, it falls flat. Their introductions are terribly awkward. Their dates are dead before they even begin. And that's why she ignores your texts. It's why she keeps calling you just a friend. And that's why she keeps giving her body over to the other guy who actually knows how to flip her switch on. Well, look, my 12-week coaching program right here at blissgnosis.com is the antidote. This is not about some cheesy pickup lines. This is not about begging girls for validation, guys. This is emotional programming. Blissgnosis is the science of rewiring that girl's brain to feel sexual tension with you, to relax into sexual comfort with you, to start seeing you as sexually valuable, and to have her accept the sexual frames that you lead her into. And when you have those four S's of sexualization, she just doesn't decide to want you. No, her body betrays her. Her emotions betray her. Her desires betray her. So the way I see it is you've got a choice here to make, okay? You can keep being that polite, invisible, nice guy, or step into the top 1% of men that women cannot resist. And if you're serious about rewiring your game and making women obsessed over you over the next 12 weeks, go right here to blissgnosis.com right now. You're going to see a short application you can fill out, and you can book a free strategy call with me. And my name is Jesse. And let me personally reprogram your dating life for you from the ground up. All right, guys, here we're going to take that ordinary handshake and really ratchet up the sexual tension, all right? And that is with the prolonged handhold, or you could call it the horny handshake here. So the difference is, instead of pulling away after a moment or two, you're simply going to leave your hand there. You're going to leave your hand there. You're going to hold it while you make deep, penetrating eye contact with that girl. You're going to give her an eye contact melt. And you're going to keep on talking like nothing out of the ordinary is happening. You just keep on talking to her while you give her that strong eye contact. And I've found that if the girl likes you, she'll typically hold her hand there in that prolonged grasp for 10 to 15 seconds, okay? She's going to hold it there for 10 to 15 seconds. And during that time, you can even rub your thumb very lightly, very gently on her hand. Very subtle move, guys. Very subtle, but it really increases the sexual tension. Now, here's the trick. Instead of you just kind of preemptively pulling your hand away or waiting for her to pull her hand away, instead, you want to keep it going as long as possible. So instead of you pulling away first, you'll feel the moment. You're going to feel this little shift where she's about to pull her hand away. You're going to feel it, okay? And in that moment, that's when you pull away. So when you feel it, she's about to pull away, that's when you pull away. And the reason you do that is you don't want to pull away preemptively. You want to keep that prolonged handhold going as long as possible. But you also want the girl to feel like you were the one who ended it. So the next question naturally is, all right, Jesse, how do I know when to introduce myself? How do I know when to use this move? How do I know when the girl is ready? What moment specifically am I looking for? Well, look, other coaches are going to tell you, wait until the girl asks you for your name, okay? They're going to say that because you want to wait for proof that she's interested in you. And I do not agree with this advice, guys. There is a massive advantage to getting her name as soon as possible, ASAP, as soon as you possibly can, and repeating it back to the girl very early on in the interaction because it creates this massive sense of familiarity. When you're repeating the girl's name back to her, She gets this feeling like you're old friends, you know each other from somewhere, and she's going to feel more comfortable with you. And some girls are kind of shy, and they're not necessarily going to ask you your name back. So you don't want to wait for the girl. You should be proactive about breaking that touch barrier as soon as possible and getting her name and repeating it back to her. So here's how you know that you're at that moment where now you can step in, hold out your hand, break that touch barrier, get her name, repeat her name back to her. What you're looking for is what's called the social hook point, okay? You're looking for a certain minimal level of engagement back from the girl. And there's certain signs you're looking for to know that you've hit the social hook point. So what I'm typically looking for is the girl is smiling, right? Once that skeptical face melts more into a smile, I'm looking for that. When I sense that she's open to talking to me, where she's slightly curious about me or curious about the conversation or where it's going to go, and I don't feel like she's about to walk off, all right? That's what I'm looking for. I'm also looking for more than just getting these simple one-word answers like maybe, yes, no. If I'm getting simple one-word answers, I know that I have not hit the social hook point yet. I'm looking for longer sentences with a smile where she's open to talking to me more and slightly curious. That's what I'm looking for, that social hook point, where now she's more invested in staying in the conversation than walking off and leaving. And at that point, I know that I can flip my hand, hold it out, step in, close the distance, get her name, and repeat her name back to her to create that sense of familiarity. So that's what you're looking for right there. Now, since you've enjoyed this video so much, guys, you want to watch this one next if you want more techniques. This is the simple hug that makes good girls suddenly feel 10 out of 10 horny for you. So if there's a girl you like, maybe she's a classmate or a work colleague, or simply a female friend of yours that you're kind of crushing on, use this simple hug move to build that crackling sexual electricity and chemistry with her. So go watch it right now.